I'm going to show you guys how you can recreate Dickinson's hydrating toner at home, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to be recreating this toner specifically for someone. They said they tried it and they didn't really like it that much because it was high in fragrance for them. So the blend of this toner is going to include witch hazel, polysorbate 20, a preservative, rosewater, aloe juice, fragrance, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin E. So I'm going to recreate this the best way I know how. So I did have to take out some of the ingredients that was inside of this toner. And so my blend is going to consist of witch hazel, rose water, distilled water, glycerin, sodium lactate, aloe, hyaluronic acid, and our preservative. Before you formulate, you want to always make sure that you are using a batch calculator in order to formulate your skincare products. I'm just taking you on my website where I have on my homepage a batch calculator. So you want to go from the menu bar and click on batch calculator. It's going to pull up the calculator. You're going to be able to put the recipe, the amount, and then you're going to be able to calculate and put in all of your percentages. You always want to make sure that your recipes contain 100%, because if it doesn't equal out to be 100%, then the formulation calculator will not calculate it. And so I'm just going to quickly show you exactly how to use this. So you can either put this in ounces or grams. Either way, it's going to go ahead and formulate it out in ounces or grams. So you can go ahead and choose either one that you want to go ahead and use when formulating. So you just want to make sure you stay within the column. Like if you decide to do grams, stay within the grams column. If you decide to do ounces, stay within the ounces, or else you will get yourself confused. For this recipe, I am going to be formulating in grams just because I know a lot of people formulate in grams. I prefer to formulate in ounces simply because my scale works better and I can get the precise number that I want. So with this batch, I did have to go ahead and change the numbers a little bit. So I either went up or down on the numbers, but mostly up, which really isn't going to affect the batch anyways. It's still going to formulate to be a great product. As you see, it's going to go ahead and calculate to be 100%. And when I said I changed the numbers, I meant the gram section because I am going to be formulating in grams specifically for this video. Like for the 45.36, I went ahead and just used 45 grams. And then for like 9.02, I just went ahead and did 10 grams. I did this simply because my scale will only calculate in whole numbers. If you have a scale that will go to the exact number, by all means, go ahead and use it. But I did this specifically because my scale would not do so. So now it's time for the formulation process. We are going to go ahead and start recreating this hydrating toner by Dickinsons, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting my first ingredient out, which is going to be the witch hazel. So for the witch hazel, we're going to use 45 grams. The next ingredient is going to be the rose water at 32 grams. I am measuring this out into a second beaker. I didn't want to pour this directly into the witch hazel simply because in case I accidentally go over. You want to always make sure you're doing this separately just in case you accidentally go over. So next I'm going to be doing the distilled water at 17 grams. And this distilled water is just bought at my local grocery store. When formulating your skincare products, you always want to do distilled water. You don't want to do tap water. You don't want to do spring water either. Next is going to be the glycerin. We're going to use this at 10 grams. I chose glycerin because it moisturizes the epidermis. It helps to hydrate the skin. It's a safe moisturizer to use in your skincare products. And since we are making a hydrating toner, what better product to use than glycerin for a hydration toner? Next is going to be the sodium lactate. We are going to use 4 grams of sodium lactate. I chose sodium lactate because it's another great hydrating ingredient. It helps maintain adequate skin hydration, and it also can be used as a buffer for skincare ingredients, but that's not why I'm using it. I just thought I'd throw that information in there. So we're going to be using aloe vera extract. This is going to be in at 3 grams. The next ingredient we're going to be using is hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is a very popular anti-aging ingredient. It is used at 1% usage rate in this blend. You do not need to use it at a higher percentage. It does not work any better if you use it at a higher percentage. And I also did pre-make my hyaluronic acid prior to this video, so I already had this available and ready. You do have to take the powder and also hydrate it before using it. So now I am going to go ahead and check the pH of the product. I am putting my pH in clean distilled water in order to get it started. So I've already calibrated my pH meter a while ago because I make so many skincare products. This is something you're going to have to do if you're using a pH meter. Of course, you're going to have to make sure you do this prior to this. But as you can see, the pH is slightly below what it should be for the skincare products. It should be between 4.5 and 5.5. So I did go ahead and add some sodium hydroxide. I only added a little bit in the first clip, but I did have to go back in and add about 5 more drops for a total of 7 drops. Sodium hydroxide is going to be a buffer that helps to raise the pH. And so now that the pH is adjusted, I am going to go ahead and add the preservative. I wanted to wait because this preservative, if you add it in too soon and the pH is below what is recommended, it will not work. Now that we have the formulation created, the pH adjusted, I'm going to go ahead and add this inside of a clean, sanitized bottle. Please make sure you clean and sanitize your containers. And here you have it. Here's the final formulation. I'll make sure I leave links to where I got the ingredients in order to create this. I'll also leave the recipe in the description as well. Let me know if you guys decide to recreate this. Here's also another option for a bottle. I decided to show you guys how you can use the dropper bottle as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.